Welcome to the BXG podcast, the podcast where pop culture and nerd culture meet at the nexus of the universe and are melded together as seamlessly as Frank's Red Hot Sauce and Captain Crunch. I am one of your hosts, Bretton Bestwick, alongside my co-host. Necco wafers are his favorite Halloween candy, Greg Filson. Greg, how are you today?
Well, who doesn't like eating chalk? Necco wafers. I was not ready for that. I'm fine, you know. I had this weird feeling today. I thought something was wrong, and I was like, oh, I'm not tired. So not tired for the first time in literally a year, probably. So that's fun.
Yeah, that is a weird feeling. Let's get you some kids, then you'll be tired all the time.
Let's not.
A couple items of housekeeping before we get into everything. BXG Podcast publishes every Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Podbean and other services throughout the day. For some reason, Episode 5 did not publish on Google Play until, I believe, on Monday or Tuesday. So I did submit a help ticket to see what that was all about. We also have official BXG social media accounts on Facebook, a page. You can check that for news updates. Instagram at BXG Podcast and Twitter at BXG Podcast. We can also be reached on the Facebook page or at bxgpodcast@gmail.com. I've also set up a YouTube page if you're one of those sociopaths that like to listen to a podcast and just look at a static screen. So I'm slowly adding all the old episodes. We may do some other video things. We've talked about possibly even doing the show by video, but we'll see about that. Before we get into the corrections, there's something that I want to talk to you about, and it's a van that I saw at a Walmart over the weekend. So it's like a Chevy Astro van, you know what I mean?
Yeah, is there a motivational speaker involved? Okay.
No. So as standard as you see at Walmart from time to time, these beat up vehicles, and this one had like the duct tape window, the saran wrap window on a different window. But then it had something that I'd never seen in a vehicle before, and I want to get your quick take on this. You know how if you have a house that doesn't have central air, you might put a window air conditioner and put a piece of plywood around it?
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was out of the back of the van, the back window. There was a window air conditioner with a piece of plywood. What's powering it?
He's probably got some sort of this person's ahead of their time. This person has 76 cans of, beans in that van as well. They're ready for the apocalypse. They're ready for whatever happens. Air conditioner, that's hooked up to something. Beans on beans. He's got Velveeta. This guy's ready to roll.
Yeah, probably.
Or gal.
Yeah. Well, and I wanted to get a picture of it, but it took off so quickly. They probably have like potted tomato plants in there, like you remember Kevin Costner on his raft in Waterworld?
Oh yeah. There's a whole ecosystem going inside that van.
There's probably an ecosystem, all right.
A lot of bacteria.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Corrections. I had two corrections from last week referencing what books we had been reading. I said recently I'd read Cormac McCarthy and referred to a book called Old Country for No Men, which is actually, of course, No Country for Old Men. I also said that the novel for Jurassic Park is 35 years old, but it was published in 1990, making it 30 years old. So I wanted to set the record straight on both of those items.
So sorry about that spoiler, because I said that it was going to be a spoiler alert. So I guess 30, I don't know now. We probably ruined it for some people.
Yeah, I don't know what the statute of limitations is on,
Is it statue or statute?
I don't know. It's a mute point. How about that? Yeah. Listener inquiries. When we have Jared L. writes in, he said, "Did you know that Utopia, the Amazon Prime TV show, is a remake of a British show of the same name? I thought the show was awesome and wanted to know if you guys have had a chance to check it out. Also, did you check out the new Marvel show Hellstrom, which is on Hulu?" I started Utopia. I watched the first episode. I haven't taken it any further than that. I do think I want to get back to it. And then I've seen ads for the Hellstrom show. It looks kind of creepy. So I'm not sure if that's something I'll check out. But I do think I want to get back into Utopia, and I did not know that it was a remake of a British show of the same name.
I did not know. I'm not surprised. It feels like everything we do in America is just a remake of something British.
America itself, some would say.
Yeah, exactly. I do want to watch Utopia. It sounds awesome. Basically the time off that I have, it's basically around sports, but when the World Series ends, there won't be sports on during the week, so I will have plenty of time to catch up on things like that, and Utopia is definitely on the top 5 of my list.
Bob Sacamano writes in and asks, what can you not eat Frank's Red Hot on? Bananas, cake, apple, cereal. I think I would try them all, he says.
I have put Frank's Red Hot on ice cream in college, and it wasn't terrible. I mean, Frank's Red Hot is delicious. I wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't go out of the way. I don't know. I mean, I probably would try it on anything. That's the thing.
Here's this is my question for somebody who would try Frank's Red Hot on cereal or cake is, where are you hiding the bodies at, Bob?
That's true. That's true.
I want to know. I mean, are you really making an effort, or are you just being lazy and putting them in the backyard? Because they'll find them.
I mean, I'm also more of a Tapatio guy. I mean, I like Tapatio more than I like Frank's Red Hot. Frank's Red Hot, I reserve the buffalo one strictly if I'm doing buffalo chicken. But I'm more of a Tapatio.
I like hot sauce on like eggs and stuff like that. But cake, what kind of psycho is this fella? I don't.
Well, it's Bob. I mean,
that's fair.
You know what he's up to.
John K.
Or not up to.
Yeah, that's true. John K. writes in, to take umbrage with my lambasting of Nickelback during our top 10 albums episode.
Which you can listen to. It's out now.
It is out. Some people had some strong feedback.
People do not like my picks.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do? Right? So anyway, John K. writes in to take umbrage with my lambasting of Nickelback. He writes that if he had to spend every day of his life with people asking him, how does it feel to have the whole world hate you, then sell out 50,000-seat arenas where everyone loves you, it would be a prison he'd be willing to live in.
That's fair. Like I said, I don't ever really care what other people listen to, because I don't have to listen to it. And if
I guess my question,
Nickelback sells out everywhere, that's for them.
I guess my question is, would he live it as though today were his last day?
I think that's how Nickelback just lives.
Yeah.
I think that's why they have the song.
Yeah, that's true. Well, anyway, we got to.
Is Nickelback anyone's actual favorite band?
Yeah,
that's the thing that concerns me.
The funny thing about it is that every time I ripped a joke about Nickelback in that episode, I thought of John Kay, because I know that it's his favorite band. And it's just one of those things.
That's incredible to me. I mean, good on you. He's just somebody. Somebody's got to have them as their favorite band. It's John Kay.
John Kay.
John Kay.
Yeah, not Sean Kay. I think that's a reggae singer. Anyway, we got a great show tonight. Sum 41's here, so they're going to be
excellent. Avril Lavigne references on both ends there.
So we have
she might be dead and had been replaced. That's a theory.
So we got a 6-pack of topics, as well as the always popular quick hitter segment and our new segment, the clip of the week, where I will show Greg a YouTube video that is ridiculous that he has never seen, and he will react to it. So,
great.
Shall we get into the 6-pack, as it were?
Let's crack this. Let's crack the cans open.
Crack it open. Number 1, Tom Holland, who will play a young Nathan Drake, and Mark Wahlberg, who will play a younger version of Victor Goddamn Sullivan, shared some of the first images from the set of the Uncharted movie. Wahlberg showed a video of him in makeup with a thick black mustache, which is a hallmark of Sully, and Holland showed an image of himself in a dramatic Nathan Drake pose, a yet-to-be-determined artifact. In meeting with Nolan North, a.k.a. the OG Nathan Drake, Nolan North, of course, voiced Drake across 4 mainline games, as well as Uncharted The Golden Abyss on the Vita. The Uncharted movie is set to release on July 16th, 2021.
I enjoyed the video games. I've gone through the first 2. I still have the third one chilling. I have not gone through it.
Yeah, you got the collection, right?
Yeah, that's how I got my PlayStation. Got the collection. Yeah. Did anybody ask for this to be a movie, though? That's the thing I have a little concern with. Why is this happening?
The funny thing about this is that I'm pretty sure Neil Druckmann, who's the vice president of Naughty Dog, has gone on record and said they don't have anything to do with this. Naughty Dog has nothing to do with this, which is in stark contrast to they're doing an HBO series of The Last of Us, and Neil's co-writing it. And it is like in partnership with Sony and in partnership with Naughty Dog. So it is kind of a stark. Because here's the thing about Uncharted, and I've been on the record saying this is my favorite game series. This is a case of we already have a George, and George in this case is named Indiana Jones. We don't need another George. You know, as much as I love those games, the history of games being adapted into movies is checkered to say the least. Most of the time they're afterthoughts. You know, we can point to the Mario Brothers movie that we kind of joked about a couple weeks ago with John Leguizamo, Dennis Hopper, and Bob Hoskins. Hoskins. You know, I would say that the most successful video game movies of all time are Detective Pikachu, and apparently the Sonic movie is passable, which stars Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. But other than that, like the Mortal Kombat movies are not, they don't hold up. The first one was like okay. The Resident Evil movies, they're like cult. They have like a cult following. But any movie that has been adapted from a game in some way or another hasn't really gone off that well. I don't know why Sony feels the need to force their properties into other mediums. They want to do a God of War show. They're going to do the Last of Us show. Now, the one thing I will say that the Uncharted movie has going for it is that Tom Holland as a young Nathan Drake and Wahlberg is a young Victor Sullivan. It at least gives them a little bit of like name recognition, and Tom Holland's really a big deal right now because of Spider-Man. And so it maybe gives them a little bit of chutzpah that some of those other movies didn't necessarily have, although you know, Ryan Reynolds was the voice of Detective Pikachu. So it looks like and it's hard to judge anything based off of 1, 2, or 3 pictures, but it looks okay.
I just want to know when Tom Holland's searching for something, it'd be funny if he like ran into Harrison Ford and he's just like, "Oh, what are you looking for?" And,
yeah, well, that was funny. They
wink.
When what the hell's the third one's name? Drake's Deception. Yeah, they had Harrison Ford like come in and play it, which was like, why is this a thing? like what are we doing here? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll be okay. I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine.
What about the Tomb Raider movies?
Like the Lara Croft ones or whatever, they rebooted it to make it more, because so you know, Tomb Raider very famously PlayStation 1 game, you know, this leggy buxom lass is going through these caves and stuff looking for treasure, and those kind of, you know, went along for a while, and then Sony basically aped the format, made Uncharted, and then Crystal Dynamics aped the Uncharted by rebooting Tomb Raider to make it more believable and make it more grounded. And those games are pretty good. I don't think the new movie did very well at all, you know, commercially or critically. I mean, the Angelina Jolie ones did well enough to warrant a sequel, apparently, because they did do the Cradle of Life. But I haven't seen them. Those games never really interested me that much anyway. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I played the first one. That was whatever. Yeah, I feel the same way. I just didn't know, and the movie seemed to do okay, and they made like 3 of them with Angelina Jolie, and then they rebooted the.
Yeah,
then they
did a reboot. Yeah,
that's what I mean.
Which is, the reboot's more, you know, it's more closely tied to the newer games as well.
Oh, okay.
So more grounded. I think the girl's younger. I can't think of her name for the life of me.
I can't think of her name either.
Number 2, MGM has tried to push the latest Bond movie, No Time to Die, on video demand streaming services. No Time to Die is currently slated to release April of 2021, and the delays have cost between $30 and $50 million. To mitigate those losses, MGM reportedly offered the Bond movie to streaming platforms as an exclusive, including Hulu, Netflix, etc., according to Variety, but the asking price was a bit too steep. MGM reportedly sought $600 million for the rights to offer James Bond, on platforms exclusively. MGM is concerned about the poor performance of the box office for Tenet and wants to seek to recoup their losses in some capacity.
If this went to streaming right now, I'd be like, let's stop the podcast. I have to watch this. I mean, this was the movie I was most looking forward to this year. I want to see it in theaters, but who knows how that's going to go? I mean, we still have no idea anywhere where anything's going, and I hope it goes streaming because I would pay. I'm not sure what I wouldn't pay at this point because I really want to see it. It's one of my favorite film franchises. Daniel Craig's my favorite Bond. I need to see this, and if it's streaming, I will. The day it streams, I will watch it. I will have no problem paying. I'll pay whatever the price is. I'm not lying.
Do you think that you're in the minority on that, though?
Yes. 100% think I'm in the minority.
And that's the thing is $600 million is a lot of money.
The only thing that you can kind of hope for on something like this, if you're the any production company putting it out there, is that we all just want something new, and you're hoping that is what brings it. You're just like, oh, this is new content. I'll pay some money. Like you said, Trolls did really well. Just like people need something. They need something, and I mean, there's a chance I would buy it twice. I mean, I'm saying this. I would buy it twice, even if it was like $50. I'd be like, I need something like this. I love those movies. And I'm sure there's other people out there just going to be bored and be like, oh, the new James Bond's on, because it's going to be advertised everywhere on your streaming, whatever you're using to stream movies. Right. You won't be able to avoid it. And you'll be like, it's $50, but like, hey, we're not going out to dinner right now. We're not doing a lot of stuff. What's $50 right now? That's way cheaper than a dinner and a movie night, that you would normally have.
Avengers Endgame, according to Google, as I just looked it up, grossed $2.798 billion at the box office. What do you think Avengers Endgame, the highest grossing movie of all time, makes if it had gone streaming and the price was $40?
Well, it's not going to make that.
Right. Yeah.
And that's, I understand that's the problem. But then again, it's just, if you're those, I guess the difference is you don't know when people are going to be able to see movies the way that you want to see a movie with packed crowds. And a friend of mine tried to go see a movie a week or so ago, and he just said it was too weird, and they left after 5 minutes because you got people, just openly eating popcorn and hacking around, and it's just
acting like there's not
acting like nothing's happening, and therein lies the problem. Is like we don't know, and Dr. Fauci has said there's a chance we're wearing masks until at least the end of 2022. If we're still doing it, you got to get some sort of money out of this, and you gotta hope.
So the budget for No Time to Die is $250 million, and they've said they've lost, what did I say, like $50 million so far on just the delays. Yeah. So you kind of put that 30 to 50 million. So that's $300 million. I'm gonna look up what Trolls 2 did, because I think so far Trolls 2 is the best selling, and they only made about $100 million. Now Trolls is different than Bond, obviously, but at the same time it kind of isn't. Because okay, so you're gonna watch. You've said, let's say Trolls was $20. I think that they could get away with charging 30 or 40 for Bond. Let's say it's 30. You're one person, you know what I mean, and you're gonna do that. But all the families down the street are getting Trolls because, heck, man, we're and this Trolls was right at the beginning of all this too. So everybody was just starting to get shut in. They needed something to do, especially people with kids. I'm raising my hand. We needed something to do. $20 was like an easy get for that. I just don't know. They keep pushing it back. What are you going to do? At this point, I don't even know if they make their money back on VOD. I think they have to hold it.
Yeah, they probably do. I'm looking at what the original Trolls made. It made $347 million. Let's just round it up. Yeah, gross. Yeah. That's crazy. I mean, when you compare it to what, I guess you keep holding it back. I mean, you just I guess you just hope that things change at some point where it can be as normal as it can be with the movie experience, but it's just so hard. Those are such confined buildings, obviously, and that's tough.
I think the hidden risk in putting anything out on video on demand is you're way more likely to get a bootleg version of something that's video on demand than you are to get a high quality bootleg version of something that's in the theaters. So if you want to see Avengers Endgame and you want it to be high quality, you have to go to the theaters. If they put No Time to Die on streaming and you're patient and you're one of those people who doesn't want to pay for things and you're just going to pirate whatever, 3 weeks you got a 4K copy anyway, so what's the difference? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that, And the other thing is, I think that there's probably not a ton of people out there that are like searching the deep, dark recesses of the internet to find a pirated copy of Trolls 2, but there will be one for Bond fans, you know what I mean, just because of age demographics.
Oh yeah.
Know? So I think that there is probably that's probably a hidden risk as well to putting things out on straight to stream.
Yeah, it's a
number 3.
I'd say it's a scary proposition for movies right now. Whatever happens, I mean, you just don't know.
Right.
And it's
well, I mean, it's almost what's happening now with streaming and Netflix and Hulu and Prime and straight to video on demand is what has been happening to the music industry for the last 20 years.
Yeah, that's a great. Yeah.
So, I mean, we're looking at we may be looking at the inflection point of, things going the same way with movies as they did with music. But we'll see. Only time will tell. Number 3, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez played Among Us, an online multiplayer social deduction game, and streamed on the Twitch platform. AOC had 439,000 viewers, making it the third most watched stream ever on the platform. The highest stream was in 2018 when Ninja streamed Fortnite with the rapper Drake. It's worth noting that many politicians have a presence on the platform, but rarely utilize the platform. I remember when Bernie signed up for Twitch, everybody lost their mind. They're like, "Oh, Bernie's going to be doing fireside chats like FDR every other day," and I don't think he was ever even on it. She did like a get out the vote type thing. I don't know if you saw this.
I heard about it. I didn't see it, but I definitely heard about it.
Yeah, I just think, and she's a little bit younger.
Yeah.
So she skews probably a little bit more towards the audience that people that are going to be watching Twitch streams or YouTube streams or whatever are going to be more visible. That's going to make her more visible. It's going to help her out. But at the same time, with the way things are going, I think you get these politicians in the text messages and the
oh my gosh,
the ads, the commercials on everything, and the YouTube commercials and the commercials between stuff, on football and the Facebook. Have you registered to vote? Have you registered to vote? I'm just trying to look at pictures of people's cats, man.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's a problem. But the issue is, I really feel like, and this kind of goes back to Joe Rogan suggesting to host a debate between Biden and Trump on his podcast. I think that's kind of where it's at now. You know what I mean? I think like Trump's holding all these rallies and Biden's holding all these rallies, and they're out in force in Pennsylvania right now where I'm at, because it's a huge swing state. You could reach way more people if you just posted your rally, like just do that and post it on YouTube, or do that and stream it on Twitch, or do that and stream it, you know what I mean? There's plenty of options. I just think that the reach, they're not, like, there's a tool and they're not utilizing it on either side.
Yeah, she's kind of ahead of her time with just everything. When she's going out there, she understands you have to get to the younger voter, because those are the people that need to be more motivated. I think the older demographic, in order you get, the more likely you are to vote. I think that really is where it's at. And so she knows that her outreach, whatever she does, she's going to play this video game. She just wants to be visible. And there's I'm not necessarily of the belief that any publicity is good publicity, but this is just good publicity. This is good. She's just out there. She's making herself seem quote unquote cool, and that is very important. And whatever you think of her politically or whatever, that is cool what she did. The fact that she did this, and it's just I got to make myself known. People that follow this are definitely going to be people in their like late teens and in their 20s, and those are the people that are key in voting, and that's what she wants. So that's as she should, and I think it was a smart move, and I think if people people are going to have to. This is going to be the new norm. I think going forward with politics, with everyone beyond politicians, anyone that's seeking to look cool is going to do stuff like this.
I think that
What is happening?
I'm just. Excuse me. I'm just, the way you phrased that was funny to me, because like I just find it like in my mind's eye, like Lindsay sitting down and doing a stream of like God of War or something is just hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Or like literally anything. Like like even like Barack Obama's like, let's say, hey guys, why don't you watch me play my My Player on 2K?
Now listen, I'm going to be on the Twitch tonight, and here's what we're going to do.
I'm going to be on the Twitch.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to do. It's going to be for America. I've made my own player.
Oh, man.
He's left-handed. You know his jumper's wet. It would be... But just like thinking, well, like, and that's even thing is like Obama's kind of hip, whatever. But like, I just remember, I think it was like 2 years ago, or maybe like right when the primaries for the Democratic Party started, and Bernie's campaign created a Twitch, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, Bernie, he's going to be on every night. He's going to be talking directly to us. It's going to be like FDR doing fireside chats." And he just never showed up. And I think Bernie's got like this cult following, and he's like cool to younger kids. And I think it's because he's so far to the left.
Oh man, yeah.
And like 19-year-olds are like, "Yeah, Bernie, give me that $25 minimum wage." But you know, he kind of fits that motif a little bit, even though he's an older guy. But like, just thinking of like any politicians. Well, who's the dude that's running against Lindsey Graham in South Carolina? Jamie.
Yeah.
Miller? Is it Jamie Miller?
Jamie Harrison. Yeah.
Harrison. Jamie Harrison's a big gamer.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Because I was actually scrolling through my tweets at one point, and I was like, who's this guy running for something that's tweeting at Cory Barlog about God of War? And I was like, and then I did a little research, and then I saw him on some political shows or whatever. But yeah, I mean, this is, you know, these 439,000 people is a boatload of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like 4 Michigan big houses stacked on top of each other, all watching this person. So it's an incredible opportunity, and I think some of these politicians who are a little bit older need to skew a little bit younger in terms of their marketing and try to really, like you said, you know, market themselves to the younger generation, who are, a lot of them are the decision makers. So I do think it's smart by her in terms of just marketing and things like that, regardless of what you think of her politics or her policies or whatever. But like you said, I wouldn't be surprised to see more people doing this. I just don't think that we're going to see like Lindsey Graham and you know, Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren sitting down for a Madden tournament.
I think they should all get together and just all do it. All like get.
Maybe that's how they should. That's how they should decide the election. Is they should just play a battle royale. They should play Fall Guys.
Oh, I was gonna say the Mario game. Yeah, just any sort of like who can beat Mario faster.
Like Mario Party. Oh yeah. Okay. Number 4, Music Awards season continues with the nominees for the American Music Awards being announced. The Weeknd and Roddy Ricch leading the way with 8 nominations each. Megan Megan Thee.
Yeah, she's
Megan Thee. That's like Old English.
It is.
I think
that's what the
English?
music is like. I think it's like
Welsh?
I think it's yeah, she's Welsh. I'm sure.
Yeah,
we have the same.
Megan
background.
Thee Stallion. Yeah. Well, listen. No. Megan Thee Stallion is right behind with 5 nominations, including the Best New Artist. Artist of the Year figures to be a stiff competition with Bieber, Post Malone, Roddy Ricch, Taylor Swift, and The Weeknd. Shane Bieber, of course, looking to pull off the ultra-rare AMA Cy Young sweep.
How do we know that Justin Bieber and Shane Bieber aren't the same person? I've never seen them in the same room together.
Doesn't Bieber have face tats? Justin Bieber?
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think
or any tats. He's got tats. Shane Bieber doesn't have tats.
Yeah, makeup.
Or maybe they're like those arm sleeves, like those Halloween costumes.
It could be that. Yeah. We don't know.
Do you know what's really funny about that is, you know how they do the Players Weekend?
Yeah.
And they do the nicknames? Every year, Shane Bieber's is not Justin. That's his nickname on his jersey. And
that's pretty good.
Justin Bieber was riding around somewhere with an Indians jersey on that said not Shane. And I actually like, all right, Justin Bieber. That moves you up
that's pretty cool.
Step in my book.
That's pretty cool.
That moves you up a step in my book. Puts you at step 1, but it moves you up a step in my book.
The one thing I want to say about these awards, and I brought this up because, you know, when I was looking for stuff to talk about, I don't feel so old. And I normally feel very old. I actually don't know who Roddy Ricch is. There's one person I'll say.
I was relying on you for that information.
Yeah, that was the one thing I didn't know. But the one person I didn't know, you know, the new Artist of the Year stuff, we went on that. Some of these people I know have been around for a while. The thing is like, I know most of these people and most of these songs, and I don't go out of my way to like look for things like this. It's like when I look at the favorite female artist, it's between Dua Lipa, Lady Gaga, and Taylor Swift. 3 people I've mentioned on this podcast several times.
Numerous times.
And then Harry Styles up for favorite album. I love Harry. Like,
I thought he was an actor.
Harry Styles?
Yeah, Dunkirk.
Well, he is an actor, but he's multi-talented. He's a multi-talented dreamboat.
That's heavy praise.
He's great. I love Harry Styles. But yeah, like I can't believe it. I keep going down. I have it up right now because I keep scrolling. Like, I've heard of you. I've heard of you. I've heard of you. Somehow this has happened. Like country music, I don't follow that aggressively other than my guy Sturgill and Casey Musgrave, but I also know Maren Morris, and The Bones is a great song. That's crazy. So this is an awards show that I probably won't be able to watch, but I like the nominees. It feels more like, hey, this is actually what people like of all ages listen to, not just people that are 17.
Here's my issue. I've been listening to The Weeknd a little bit. It's not bad.
Yeah.
But the nominees for best rock pop artist were like The Weeknd, Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga, and I'm like,
yeah, that's a little weird. I don't understand why that has to be the same.
I'm probably gonna skip this.
I don't understand why that has to be the same category. Because they're not the same music at all, ever.
It's not like with the Golden Globes how they do like musical or comedy.
Right.
It's like Best Picture drama or Best Picture musical comedy. Like those are at least not dramas.
Right.
So they kind of fit into the same thing.
Pop rock.
But like saying like pop or rock, it's like, well, you know, if you go back 20 years, it's like best rock or pop. Is it the Chili Peppers or Britney Spears? Like those don't go together.
Yeah, I was going to go back to the 80s and say Michael Jackson or Metallica. That's what I was going to like. I mean, you can't.
Right. Yeah.
Like, that's weird.
It's a little
lazy.
Yeah.
I think. I think it's I think it's because
and there's only 3 for each.
I think the thing I think it's because rock music is at not a great point, and they try to just throw that in there. I know it's sad. I'm not wrong though, right? I mean, there's not a ton of great rock stuff out there.
Like even some of the newer stuff that I listen to is not like terribly popular. It should be. I think Young the Giant right now is the best rock band.
I like Young the Giant.
But you don't see them show up on things like this. Number 5, Lego, the Switzerland of toys, in that they are able to produce several sets from rival lines, most notably DC and Marvel, but also producers of the mega popular series such as Star Wars and Harry Potter, and most recently launched a set featuring Mario and Will and friends to great fanfare, is bringing another beloved IP into the fold. Sesame Street will be launching on November 1st, and the set will include iconic characters such as Elmo, Bert and Ernie, Oscar the Grouch, Cookie Monster, and of course Big Bird. The Sesame Street large set will retail for $119.99. What other IP would you like to see Lego take a stab at?
Seinfeld.
No joke, I think there is one.
Is there really?
Like,
okay, it's like if they're...
I'm not even
okay, because I didn't look like too far into it.
Or somebody did like a...
Because there's so many you could have Jerry's apartment, you could have the restaurant. I mean... It's pretty good. You could have Yankee Stadium. It's sort of just... It's a fan
design.
Okay.
Set.
There's one thing I thought about. I was like, I'm sure there's fan designs of everything. And so...
Yeah, but they're actually going to sell it.
Okay.
And it's going to be like a 30th anniversary set, and it's monks.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Tom's Restaurant, for those in the know.
Right.
Yeah, I love it. For me, that was like where because a lot of stuff I like all those things already that Lego's already done. So I was like, Seinfeld has it fits. It's just nerdy enough, and it would sell. People would still I would buy it.
I looked up. I was like, man, I would love to see this. Look it up. They've already done it. I like this. Looked it up. Like they have like Jurassic World or Jurassic Park. So I guess my answer is kind of cheating because they have already done it, but they just haven't done it in quite some time. But I'd like to see them go back to Ghostbusters.
That'd be cool.
Ecto 1, the car and the firehouse, and then you could do something with like the top of the skyscraper with Zool and the State Puff and all that. Now they did do. There's a Toys to Life game. Called Lego Dimensions, where it comes with like a board that plugs into your console in one of the USB ports, and you have to make like different like vehicles or whatever with the different Lego pieces, and it comes with like Batman or whatever. But I have the Ghostbusters set, and it is like Ecto 1. And then there's one that's like the Gremlin dog or whatever. But I'd love, and I did see on there, like I said, I looked it up. I think it's like $130 for the firehouse, but I would totally buy that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. What about American Psycho? That'd be pretty cool.
I don't know that that would be child friendly per se. And I don't know exactly, like, you could probably do
Dorsia.
like Hell's Kitchen, Hell's Kitchen, where he's dissolving people in bathtubs, and his apartment, but it would have to have like something where there's like newspapers laid down and Paul Allen's bleeding to death from an axe wound to the face. I don't know that that's child friendly per se. Phil Collins would be playing, or Huey Lewis in the News, of course, but I don't know. That's the thing, is they. All joking aside, Lego's done just about everything. They've done Back to the Future. They've done Disney, different Disney sets. They've done Scooby-Doo. They've done, if you could think of it, they've probably done it. Maybe like a Ninja Turtles would be cool, or like some of those older, like He-Man, G.I. Joe, Transformers, stuff like that. The issue with that is Mattel owns all the rights to those, and they'd have to play nice together, and there's no guarantee that that's going to happen. Number 6, Bette Midler confirms the original Hocus Pocus cast will reunite for a sequel. The film, greenlit earlier this year, will feature Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy, reprising their roles from the beloved cult classic Halloween film. No further developments, such as release date or plot points, given at this time. Midler also posted that the trio will host a one-night virtual event in search of the Sanderson sisters, which will require e-tickets and has a boatload of cameos. And the proceeds will benefit the New York Restoration Project. Are you a Hocus Pocus guy?
Yeah, I really like it. I hadn't watched it for a really long time, and then once I got together with Jamie, we watched it every year. It holds up every time. It still works every year. We watch it. I'm like, this is still really good. And I really like Sarah Jessica Parker, so that's just part of it.
Yeah, and she's like young. Yeah. And like real hot.
She's very pretty. I still find her very attractive. If I met her right now, I would probably be just a mess.
It's like the original sort of Halloween movie that is family friendly. Right. Family friendly, I think. There's no, it's not too terribly scary. There might be some parts with little kids that they might get scared, like Billy Butcher, whatever the zombie's name is. That might be a little bit creepy for little kids, but other than that, it's really not that scary.
It's not that scary, but it's still very spooky. It has a great. Yeah. It's really like the essence to me of what Halloween should be. It's spooky enough without being like gory and killerish, and I think it is a very obviously family friendly, but I think it really is what the essence of Halloween should be, and that's why I really like it.
Yeah, I think so too. It's solid, and it's like you said, it's one of those movies we try to watch every year. I don't know if I said this. It's going to be coming to Disney Plus. It's not going to be in theaters, but like we've said, nothing's in theaters these days. Okay, you know what time it is?
It's video time. Here we go.
It's clip of the week.
Honestly,
clip of the week.
I haven't checked anything. I have the link here. I like to make it a little bit
preface this. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to preface this. This is a quasi submission from my 5-year-old son.
Okay. Awesome. I love it.
He's a lot smarter than me.
Okay.
And he has a lot of like questions about like science and space and things that I can't answer, so he just falls down these rabbit holes on YouTube, and every now and then they take him in very weird directions.
What is going on?
And so don't watch it yet.
Oh, I'm not supposed to watch it yet? Okay.
No, you're not supposed to watch it.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
I walked in the other day and he's watching this video, and it's not this one, because the one that he was watching was too long for this segment. It's like 4 minutes long. But the one he's watching is this French guy. His name's Remy Gallard or something like that. It's people dressed up as the blocks from Tetris.
Fair enough. As one does.
And then like blocking people, like going down escalators and then forming a row and then not letting people through. Or that like somebody presses for me. There will be three of them, and somebody will press an elevator button, and the fourth one will come down and step out and form the row, and then they can't get. Or like they'll be going up to a garbage can and they always spin and like block the people from opening the garbage can. Or my favorite was there's like a guy at a table at a cafe, and the Tetris piece just totally comes and wipes out his whole table. So anyway, I started falling down the rabbit hole, and I found this video, which is the same guy, and it's called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So that's Remy, R-E-M-I, Gallard. He's French.
Yeah,
so
most Remy's are.
Or Cajun.
Like yeah, exactly. Raging Cajun.
Yeah. Okay, did you...
Yeah, I'm ready to rock. It's just after the commercial, so here we go.
Okay. So this is what let me walk the audience through what you're seeing.
Oh my god, and here we are.
Yeah.
People dressed up
So
in
there's
ridiculous costumes.
And he's a pizza delivery man who walks into an apartment. And he opens the apartment, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles there.
Oh my god.
And they're eating pizza. And they try to not pay him. So again, this is Remy, R-E-M-I, Gaillard, G-A-I-L-L-A-R-D, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's the video.
He just turned around and he stole pizza boxes from him. And now he's running. He tripped, which was hilarious that he tripped. Now the pizza guy, who was on a motorcycle, is now... And there's French stuff that I don't know what they're saying.
Right.
Incredible video. The pizza guy is
so
forlorn. It's incredible.
Oh yeah, he gets very upset.
That was a minute long, and it felt like it was 20 seconds because it was so good.
So
that was awesome. And I can't tell you how much I enjoyed that. That was
fall down the rabbit hole with this guy.
I'm going to,
because they're all. I'm thinking that people probably have seen him because he does Mario Kart in the streets of France, where he's in a go-kart dressed up at Mario and he's throwing bananas at cars. So check that out, Remy Gaillard.
Remy Gaillard,
definitely.
What a legend.
Pause this and watch that real quick, and then come on back.
Oh my gosh. Dunkachino.
Dunkachino. All right. Quick hitter time.
Whew.
This will publish the morning of the Mandalorian Season 2 debut. What's your hype level?
About as hyped as I can get for something. I'm not going to try to go all, I really try to refrain from hyperbole. This is about as excited as I get for something. That
I'm just ready to watch anything.
Right, and I think that might be part of it. Like, if I was living my normal life, then I'd probably be like, yeah, I'll see it Saturday in case, I'm doing something. No, this is the first thing I'm going to watch Friday when I come home from work.
I can't guarantee that I won't watch it before I go to work.
That's true.
Like, I might wake up an hour early.
I actually might have time to do it. It will be the first thing I watch Friday. Whatever it is, it'll be the first thing I watch Friday. Whether it's before work or after work, it'll be the first content that is visible to me that day. I am very excited.
When Disney Plus launched, it launched with season 1, and so many people tried to get in it actually crashed the service.
Right.
So that's people are very excited. It's new Star Wars, and everybody wants that. Speaking of Star Wars, Kanye West said that the prequels are better than the Disney Star Wars sequels. Let me tell you, Kanye's bat as we know. Excuse me, I'm probably going to have to bleep that out. But I agree with him on this one.
Yeah.
I agree with him. I'm standing at this camp. The prequels, which are much maligned, are better than the Disney Star Wars sequels. I said it.
Yeah.
Don't at me. Don't at me, bro.
I don't know if I agree or disagree. I like that he's commenting on it. Number one, he's commenting on something that can be somewhat divisive, but ultimately has no importance. That's fun. That's cool. Maybe he was just happy to hear I put one of his albums in my top 10. I like to think he's listening. He saw that, and he's like, or he heard that, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to comment on something that doesn't matter. And really, realistically, so here we are. The prequels aren't great. The Disney ones aren't
bad.
Aren't great. And
here's the thing: the only thing that works, and this is the thing, is I think at some point, we did our top 10 albums available now for our first episode of the BXG. I think at some point we're gonna rank Star Wars, and
that's gonna be so tough.
You know what? For me, it's not.
I mean, like in a sense, I don't think I could probably do it right.
It'll be harder at the bottom.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm actually saying. Like, what am I going to make the worst?
It's like, which piece of crap do I put at the bottom here?
Exactly. Like, because, the first three are not going to be hard to...
It's like bobbing for apples with turds in a toilet.
Yeah. It's not great. It would have been funny if he said something maybe he's back. Maybe this is where we start to get regular Kanye, 2000s Kanye, you know, and he like this is his starting point because this is the
first thing that he said that's made sense.
I was just gonna say this is the first sane comment he's made in how many years, and it's like actually very sane. There's another album coming out that maybe is terrific. He's winning album of the year 2 years from now because of this comment.
And it's all Star Wars.
And it's all Star Wars themed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
100%.
I love it.
Ariana Grande's new song "Positions" debuted, and her new album is coming soon.
I just really like Ariana Grande. I'm glad she's back. The reason why I actually put this in here is 2020 has been a rough year. It's been a rough year.
No doubt.
Musically, for me, personally, incredible year. Harry Styles came out late last year, so I started my year listening to Harry Styles. We moved on to that to Dua Lipa, which is a great album, Future Nostalgia. Then we get Chromatica from Lady Gaga. And I'm like, holy cow, this is an amazing year for me musically. I am great. And then, out of nowhere, Taylor Swift drops Folklore. Oh my goodness. And then, Sturgill Simpson comes out with Cutting Grass. And now I get Ariana Grande to finish out the year. Musically, for me, terrific year. 2020, you sucked, but you at least gave me this. That is something. This is something. I love having music that I can look forward to and give me something new. And this is where I try to keep in touch with the kids. Ariana Grande's back, and the new song is very Ariana Grande. If you like her, you're gonna like that song. I think we're just gonna like this album. We know it's gonna be good. But yeah, 2020 it held up musically. I think because people were bored, and they just.
I have no feeling on this.
Yeah, I knew you wouldn't
at all.
Yeah, I knew you wouldn't. But this is why I put this in here. Because this is where I get to rant about all the stuff that I like, and yeah, this is my one rant. I love the music of 2020, you know. And
Halloween.
Yeah, sorry.
Halloween weekend. Halloween weekend. You're cut off. You've had too much. Halloween weekend. What's your favorite Halloween candy? Necco wafers.
We covered it. Yeah, Necco wafers. I love chalk. Second is just Skittles. Just Skittles sitting out. I'm just Skittles. If we're actually being real,
no, I don't think you were. One time, you know, Bob, the apparent serial killer, Sakamoto, and I were riding in his T-Bird, and he had the giant bag of Skittles and bet me I couldn't put 100 in my mouth at once.
I would have remembered that.
Well, you would have remembered it because I got to 99, and then the 100th one started to go in, and he either hit a bump or a rabbit or a gopher, and I choked and I vomited all 100 Skittles all over the front seat of his car.
Oh, God. That's disgusting. I mean, Skittles are nothing. You know, Skittles or whatever.
It was disgusting because
taste the rainbow.
They were all in my mouth for so long that the color started to melt off.
Yeah.
So they were all just like brown.
That's super nasty. You know? I'm not going to go off the board too much here. The Reese's Peanut Butter Cup is always going to be. It's my favorite candy. Yeah. So and kudos to anyone giving out full size bars. By the way, if you're doing that, I went trick or treating in college. Went to Squirrel Hill. Full-size candy bars. Well, yeah, maybe. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Great times.
That's a little different.
Yeah.
That's no. I can tell you, the street I live on, nobody's doing that.
What's your favorite?
Reese's. Yeah, Reese's. And just a special shout out to the monsters that give away pennies. Stay in your house. Nobody wants you outside. Just stay in.
I'd rather have an apple with a pin in it.
I'd rather have a Snickers with a razor blade in it. Straight up.
Take my chances.
Straight up. Give me a Snickers with a rusty razor blade in it than getting pennies.
I remember a house every year.
What the hell are you going to do with pennies?
They just wanted to get rid of them.
That's probably what it was.
They're like, why do I have these pennies around?
They weren't even cool. They're not even like wheat pennies.
Right, exactly. They're just...
Yeah, those people can just suck one. What's your favorite Halloween costume that you ever dressed up as? You tell me what your favorite Halloween costume is, and then I'm going to tell you what my favorite Halloween costume that you dressed up as.
Okay. My favorite ever was third grade, I want to say, and I went as a werewolf. And the thing that made this so cool is my mom, I had like a white shirt. We put like fake blood on it and stuff like that. She went to Joann Fabrics and got like fake fur. And she sewed fake fur coming out of it as if he was bursting out of the shirt.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that was my favorite. I mean, I had like the werewolf mask and, you know, the jeans were... It was the same thing with my jeans, too. It was like she sewed the fur coming out. So that was just a cool, like, you know, it was a DIY that also just was very cool. And I remember, like, getting a lot of compliments at school that day because it was just awesome.
Speaking of compliments, let me tell you what my favorite Halloween costume that you ever wore was.
Okay.
Dead Elvis.
I bring up Dead Elvis, I would say annually.
Dead Elvis, just... Okay, so we went to Six Flags, Geauga Lake, whatever it was, to do like haunted house type things or whatever with some friends of mine at the time. Greg got pulled by the people and they were like, you're going to be perfect for Dead Elvis. And so they put him out in front of one of the rides and there was Elvis songs playing, right?
Yeah.
All night.
Yep.
And you just had to act like a zombie version of Elvis. And I remember meeting up with you at some point and you just had this look in your eyes that was like, you know, somebody being forced to account the Vietnam War. Like this just 1,000-yard stare. Because you'd said that just old ladies were just grabbing your butt all night.
Oh yeah,
and everything.
Young ladies also did. It was a free for all.
No, that's not funny.
No, it's not as funny. I just want to make sure that that's known. There was a lot of things going on. I went through. I had 45 minutes of makeup. I felt that was the insane thing. It took a long time to get the makeup on, and then I'm wearing a completely like polyester suit. I'm holding this like blow up guitar, and they're like, you just have to like gyrate, move around a lot. I bet I lost 10 pounds that night. And there wasn't a lot to lose. You know, there wasn't a lot of weight to lose there. I was physically exhausted. That's the equivalent of running a marathon. I did that for like 2.5 hours. I'm in hundreds of people's photos. I took hundreds of photos that night. There are people that have me on their mantle.
Hopefully. Favorite Halloween costume for me was we had this. I grew up in a family of hunters. I'm not a hunter, but we had like orange stuff all the time. But for some reason, I don't remember why this was a thing, but we had a moose mask. And so I dressed up as a hunter, but then I put the moose mask on and I wore a sign that said people hunter. And that probably disturbed some folks.
That's pretty good.
But that was probably, I think I was like 9 or 10 maybe. But probably wouldn't even get away with that now, you know, because I had like the toy gun and everything.
Yeah, it'd be tough.
Wouldn't even get away with that.
You couldn't do it at school at least.
Yeah. No, definitely not. Open Mike Eagle, which I recommended last week, was featured in an article on The Ringer. So, like, this sort of is an underground thing, but, like, he's getting a lot of buzz, like, best rap album of the year.
Yeah, I listened to it. I read the article, and I listened to it. I love it. I love how funny he is. That's the stuff that I really think plays, is that, like, it's good rap music. And it's more of, like, kind of what I normally enjoy with rap music. It's also very funny. And he's kind of picking on himself a lot, which I really enjoyed.
I guess he went through a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't read the article yet, but just, like, seeing some different things.
The article's really good. His interview is really
I'll
great.
Check it out. It's on The Ringer, Open Mike Eagle, Anime, Trauma, and Divorce. And he's on a podcast, too, of theirs, which means he's probably too big to be on our podcast, unfortunately.
Yeah, you never know.
We
should reach out.
Shoot for the moon. You may miss and land amongst the stars.
Yes.
As they say. But, I mean, I've had it on pretty much nonstop the last 2 or 3 weeks or however long it's been since it came out, and it just, the self-deprecating humor that's found in it is just totally right in my wheelhouse. You know, if anybody, if you've been following along, you know, we're on episode 6. I've got a lot of zingers that are related pretty much directly at myself, and so it's in the wheelhouse, but it's really good. So Open Mike Eagle, Anime, Trauma, and Divorce is the album. It's on Spotify. Once again, highly recommend that. Oscar Isaac will play Moon Knight for the Disney Plus series. I have no knowledge of Moon Knight. Here's what I know about Moon Knight. He's cool looking. He's all white, and I like Oscar Isaac. So let's go.
You kind of just stole the words out of my mouth, because I thought maybe you knew who Moon Knight was, so I'm looking him up. Like, he looks cool, and I like Oscar Isaac. Cool. So
he almost looks like a little bit like Batman. He's got like this sort of like ninja sort of samurai motif going on, but I love Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, me too.
I love Oscar Isaac. I think that he is, as Poe Dameron, is one of the bright spots of the new Star Wars trilogy. I think he's great in Ex Machina, which is, in my opinion, one of the scariest movies, but for different reasons that you can see it's a science fiction movie. I think he's great in that. I think Oscar Isaac is primed to be one of the next big actors in Hollywood. So it's kind of interesting to see him take kind of a smaller role here for the Disney Plus streaming series. But I think this will be cool. I was excited about this one amongst the new ones that they announced with Miss Marvel and She-Hulk. I was more excited about this just because of how cool the character looks.
He is Batman, by the way. I'm reading the thing. Like, it is essentially Marvel's version of Batman that isn't Iron Man. He's a millionaire entrepreneur. They're detectives. They use kind of the same kind of gadgets and stuff. So it's basically just...
Does he have PTSD?
We'll see.
From seeing his parents murdered in front of his eyes.
Let's see. He's a former boxer, CIA agent, and mercenary who found himself near death after being betrayed by his employer. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. This sounds very like, oh man, I'm so pumped just reading this now.
That sounds almost more like Deathstroke.
Yeah.
From DC.
But it's cool. I like millionaires that turn into like things because I just like Batman, and Tony Stark.
Right. Sure.
So yeah, count me in. I'm in on this. And
yeah.
Oscar Isaac.
Jeff Bezos, if you're listening, man up.
Yeah. What are you doing, Jeff?
Yeah. Man up, man.
Imagine if Bill Gates was a superhero. Maybe he is. We don't know.
I think he is, just of a very different variety.
Right.
But Jeff Bezos needs to hit the gym.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos,
And stop listening to me on streaming devices that are in my kitchen 4 feet away from me.
Unless you're listening to the podcast. Then give us an ad. Pay us to read an ad for your company, Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
I'll talk about Amazon. Listen.
I'll talk about anything if they pay us.
We determined there's one thing that I will not talk about.
Fair enough.
I don't want to offend John Kay.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to bring it up.
Right.
Xbox is selling limited edition Mandalorian controllers. These things look pretty sweet. I think I love his helmet.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm with that. I like cool stuff like that. I really wanted to get the special edition PS4 Spider-Man console just because I thought it was really sharp looking. It's like metallic red with the Spider-Man logo on it, but I already had one, so there's no real reason for me to get another one.
I'd be all in on this if I had an Xbox. I wouldn't think twice about it.
It looks cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't think twice.
It looks real cool. Cyberpunk 2077 is delayed again. It's pushed till December. Originally slated for April 2020. It was bumped to September, then November, now December. This is really notable because this is the last big game for the current systems. Like the last big game for the current systems, PS4 and Xbox One. And it is from CD Projekt Red, who made The Witcher 3, which was a huge game. It just keeps getting bumped and bumped and bumped and bumped, which tells me that this game is probably just broken.
Yeah, there's got to be something wrong with it. We might be waiting until 2077 for it to actually come out at this point. So
that's fair.
Yeah,
that is fair. Sony's Malaysian studio is allegedly working on one of PlayStation's most well-known and well-loved franchises, leading many to believe that it is Uncharted. I'm going to say here, and you can quote me, they are not working on Uncharted. There's a lot of no, I shouldn't say that. So the Sony Malaysian studio, which is down there in the southeast Pacific, they're a support studio. They're not going to have. You're not going to pop in a game to your PlayStation or download to your PlayStation and see. Like you see the Naughty Dog logo, the Sucker Punch logo, the Santa Monica logo. You're not going to see Sony Malaysia on anything. They're a support studio. And what that means is they might help with like art assets or engine issues or things like that. So I suppose it is possible that they are working on Uncharted, but most people who have any knowledge of the industry are pretty keen on the fact that Sony San Diego has a second studio that's working on a new Uncharted game. Sony San Diego is most well known for, they do The Show, and that's the game they do every year. They do MLB The Show. But rumor had it whenever Naughty Dog finished with Uncharted 4 and Uncharted Lost Legacy that they passed the baton to Sony San Diego, who created another team to work on whatever the next Uncharted game is going to be. So I can say with relative certainty that Sony Malaysia is not the prime driving force behind an Uncharted game. But what that would do is it would lead me to speculate what what is out there that hasn't popped up in a while that they might be working on. And the thing that I'm curious is, what if they're working on a Twisted Metal game? You remember those?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, there hasn't been one in a real long time, so that might be I'd
be in on that.
In Never-Ending Spider-Man news, Tom Holland confirmed that they have begun filming, and we talked about that we're going to get a first look at that sometime in November or December. And our last piece of information here is we met Bill Simmons 11 years ago this week.
What a ride! What a ride it's been.
It was well, let me tell you,
a ride for that.
It was what?
Yeah.
Is 4 hours down, I think?
Yeah, it was 4 hours down. It was 5 hours back, even though we were drove in the middle of the night because we ran through construction.
That was probably not a great decision.
No, it wasn't. I was up for 36 straight hours, and then I went to work the next day. I took an hour nap and went into work. The people handling the thing were terrible. At the ESPN zone,
let's go back and clarify. So we went down 11 years ago. This was when he wrote the Book of Basketball, the first edition, and he was doing book signings all over the country. And the closest one for us was in DC at the ESPN zone. And it was during a Redskins and Eagles.
Yes.
Monday night game.
Yeah.
Monday night game, I think.
Yeah.
Monday night or Thursday night.
Monday night.
Yeah. I had actually already had the book for about a week and a half. Or about a week, because at the time I worked at a bookstore, which is, full circle, because now you work at a bookstore.
Whoa.
But I was unpacking the books one day and I was like, well, I'm buying this now. And I was like halfway done with it whenever we got down there. And it was really cool. I will say it was cool because everybody that was there, like during the football game, got to spend a few minutes with him.
Right. Yeah.
So that was cool. We both got our picture taken. Simmons, longtime Simmons listeners will know that Joe House, who's a DC guy, was at the event that night. He signed my book. The next time you think of a 12-inch double meat, think of Joe House.
Yeah.
You had great things for Bill to write in your book to sign.
Yeah.
Do you remember what they were? Because I do.
I would say, if you're going to say them, go ahead and say them, because when I feel like it's better if you just go ahead, because I just want you to...
her father's a district attorney.
Yep.
And pepper my sauce.
Yeah. What was funny is my entire goal was to make him laugh. And he's like, anything you want me to say? And I gave him those two lines, and he was laughing. And it was like genuine laughter, because it was midnight. Right. He had been there. I mean, he gave me a pat on the back.
It was like 2.
Yeah, he gave me a pat on the back because he said he was going to stay the whole time, and they weren't sure about books. And we were the first people there, and we were one of the last people to get our book signed because the ESPN Zone people had no idea what they were doing.
It was pretty rough.
It was pretty rough.
And then we drove back.
Yeah.
That night.
But I remember that we stood in line with some very cool people from the Pacific Northwest that had, for whatever reason, were in that area. And so we had like good chatter. I don't remember ever being bored. I remember it started to rain a little bit, and it was a little cold. Yeah. But no, it was a great experience. Taylor Swift and Miley Cyrus got us back alive.
Party in the USA saved our life.
Yeah, it really did, because I was running on nothing.
Yeah.
No food.
Yeah, that was
no food. No anything. It was rough, but
not a great decision.
It was worth it though. I did make Bill Simmons laugh. Wouldn't
have been worth it if we would have wrecked and died in the Potomac. I'm just saying.
We wouldn't know. We'd be dead.
Yeah, 100% dead.
Pepper my sauce. Johnny Bananas. Yeah. They're not Johnny Bananas.
I thought that was CT.
CT said it to Johnny Bananas, I believe.
Right. Pepper my sauce. Yeah, that's a thing. When is I think that they started filming the new season of the challenge.
It's probably my guess would be early next year, because it's usually how that circle runs.
Well, there's usually one in the fall, but there's not now because of COVID.
Right.
Yeah. Because I think they were going to film. They said the same thing about like Survivor and some of those reality shows that I watch. The other reason The Amazing Race is on right now is because they filmed it like literally 3 years ago, and they've just had it in the hopper.
That's funny.
This whole time.
Maybe they knew.
Yeah. No, I don't think they just were pushing other stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know why the Amazing Race wins Emmys, and they had on like MacGruber, if you remember, or no, not MacGruber, like the MacGyver reboot.
Oh right, yeah.
What they had on in that,
I do remember that. Yeah,
in that slot. So
didn't fare that well.
Speaking of the, I don't know. I just Wednesday nights was always for me. It was Survivor and Amazing Race, back to back, or Amazing Race used to be on Sundays, and I like those shows. I mean, my mom insists Survivor is scripted, and I do think that there is an element of, the host Jeff Probst, they bring him all the game tape, so to speak, of the people around the camp and what they're saying, and he just stirs the pot. He's like Bob Bestwick in the paint shop. He's just making everybody miserable, with just picking on people and bringing up grudges and things like that. So I do think that there is like an element of that, and I think sometimes that there's certainly people who they want to win. Maybe it doesn't necessarily always play out like that, at least on Survivor. Amazing Race, I think it's really cool. I think it's a really cool show because they go to all these different countries and you get to learn a little bit about the cultures there. So it's almost like a learning experience. And there's always challenges where people are falling down. And if there's anything that I like, it's a good face plant. First episode was 2 weeks ago, and the end challenge was people had to wrangle and run with a goat, which is a weird thing.
I did it yesterday.
But the goat,
just for fun.
Okay. But the goat just totally, the people underestimated the strength of these goats, and they just out of the blocks because they had them almost like in horse racing.
Oh yes,
stables or whatever they have at the beginning of a horse race. They had them in there, and then they fire open the gate, and these goats just take off, and they're like, I gotta hold on, and they get 10 feet and they're just down. And that's what I want to see.
Well, yeah, I think everybody enjoys a good spill. That's why America's Funniest Home Videos worked.
Yeah, sure. That's one of my, my favorite challenge on Survivor year in and year out is the one where the people are blindfolded and someone's yelling at them and trying to guide them through the maze, and it's just not going well, and people keep running into things face first, or they run in and they trip and fall or whatever. Those just crack me up, and maybe I'm a horrible person for that, but I just like watching people fall down. That kind of segues into our media recommendations. I am watching The Amazing Race, playing Fall Guys Season 2. I'm starting to really rack up the wins in that. I'm still working on Castlevania a little bit. So the thing about Symphony of the Night is there's two ways to beat it. There's the easy way where you just beat it and then that's the end. And then there's the secret way to beat it where then you have to play through the entire castle again. It's just in an inverted map, and it's really hard. It doesn't the difficulty level does not ramp up to the point where you're prepared for the inverted castle. So I'm kind of, I don't want to say I'm stuck, but I'm dying a lot, so it's not as fun to play. I already talked about I'm listening to Open Mike Eagle. I watched Creed 2 over the weekend. I hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
It was on Prime and it was free, and I liked the first one.
Yeah.
And I liked the second one. It was good. And then I started Borat. I watched the first 15 minutes. Man, is it offensive.
I haven't started. We're gonna watch it, I think, this weekend. I'm probably not.
It's wildly inappropriate.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's on Prime and it's free.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So there you go.
I just finished a book by Matthew B. Crawford, Why We Drive. I brought that up before. Really cool. It's about driving. And it's philosophical. So those are right up my alley. I love things like that. I can't really recommend it enough. It gets, even if you don't really care about driving so much, but you care about the idea of freedom and having the ability to get away. I think that's more of what the book is than actually driving. So I really, really enjoyed that. Watching the Eric Andre show, it's back, season 5. Eric Andre is hilarious. The show is absurd. It's on Hulu. So if you have a Hulu subscription, you can go back and catch up. There's some just amazing things. And like I said, it's 15 minutes an episode, so you can kind of buzz through it pretty quickly. I think musically, I've just been going back on the old Sturgill Simpsons albums, which are just incredible. It's basically it. I haven't really ventured too far out. I've just been doing more podcast listening, as it ramps up into this time of the year with college football. That's where I'm at right now.
That's good stuff for everybody. Check all that out. Okay, so follow us on Twitter at GTFilson and at Y2B, Instagram at GTFils and at Y2B. Also follow the podcast on both of those platforms at BXG Podcast. Subscribe, leave kind reviews, share, recommend, tell your friends, tell your parents.
Tell your mothers.
About the unmistakable essence of the BXG Podcast.
Great episode. A lot of fun.
Great.
We went everywhere this episode.
And I'll tell you what, it was tight because we're only at 107 or an hour and 17 minutes, and when I edit it, it's going to get cut down.
Right.
That's the thing, and I want everybody to know. We've gotten a lot of compliments. Boy, you guys are hitting a good rhythm. Boy, you guys sound great. You're really starting to nail it. Here's the thing, and I do think that we are starting to nail it a little bit more. But the other thing is that, and I don't know if it's recognizable or not in the finished product, but starting with episode 3, I meticulously edit these. It's a very tedious process, but I edit out all of the dead air where we're maybe thinking about what we're going to say.
Yeah, you do a really good job.
Or duh,
yeah.
And so I do think that we are hitting a good rhythm. But at the same time, I'm also, I think, not to pat myself on the back, but I'm also doing a good job of editing and not make us sound like morons. So that's kind of helping too. But it is, because the other thing too is, we've said we don't want to go on for hours and hours. I think that a nice hour to an hour and 15, and I think almost all of our episodes, except for the extra one, which was a little bit shorter, have fallen between an hour and 15 and an hour and 20 minutes. Because I want to respect people's time.
Right.
If you want that long conversation between Joe Rogan and who's that moron?
There's so many.
I can see him in my mind's eye. The InfoWar guy. Alex Jones. If you want the 4-hour Alex Jones interview with Joe Rogan where he's talking about humanoid pig people and breakaway societies and all this nonsense, then that's there for you. But we're a pop culture, nerd culture podcast. And we want to respect your time, and we realize that people have a lot of things to do, and maybe that they have other podcasts they want to listen to, or they just want to listen to the radio or whatever. So we are going to try and keep it nice and tight, and I think that an important part of that process is editing it, and it is tedious, but it doesn't feel like work to me because I'm having fun while I'm doing it. I just do want people to know that there is quite a bit of actually for both of us a lot of work that goes into doing one of these shows. I mean, we spend the week kind of back and forth writing the show. It's not like we just show up and we have stuff to talk about and we just talk.
Right. I mean, I actually take notes. I take handwritten notes. I feel like Tony Kornheiser. Yeah. I have my notes right here. I am thinking about this stuff. I mean, I see a lot of it. I try to make it seem like it's reactionary. But I am honestly consciously thinking of this stuff a lot, and I told Janie last night I was pumped to do the episode, I was ready to go, and I think that's part of what I'm trying to do is make it seem reactionary. I try to make it seem like you're just throwing stuff at me. It's the acting that I'm trying to kind of put out there, but I've heard really good. Yeah, like I said, I've told people it's hey, if you have criticism, please tell me because I want to know. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And everybody's just no, this is what I listen to when I'm working out or if I'm cleaning. There's it's good to have on, and a couple of people never listened to podcasts before, and they're like, this is something I look forward to, and which is cool.
I'm trying to get my mom on it. I told her, I was like, hey, Greg and I are doing a podcast. So she's like, I don't know what the hell a podcast is. She's just like,
I thought you meant you were going to get your mom on the show. No, we could talk about post office work.
Listen, I think anybody 6 episodes in, they know that you're the character and I'm the straight man. I don't think that this podcast can handle the overall crabbiness and grumpiness of my mother. And I can say that knowing that she will never listen to this because in her own words, I don't know what the hell a podcast is. So I feel fine saying that. I know it's not going to come back on me.
Yeah, my mom does listen, which is
that's
good.
Great.
Yeah.
And And yeah, I mean, we do appreciate the feedback, and a lot of people have reached out. The whole way from California to the Netherlands is our listenership, which is great. But we're always trying to expand. So please recommend and share. Tell everybody, tell your friends, tell the guy that is the PennDOT flag guy. Hey, turn that from stop to slow. But while you're at it, listen to the BXG podcast.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here. Take care, guys.
Thanks, guys.